guys, it's me back again with another video, and today's video is going to be about me, which is really interesting and weird because I hate talking about myself, but you know, you do what you do. So this topic was requested by multiple people. A lot of you guys, I guess, are interested in hearing my story and how I got started on spirituality and this whole journey, why I'm here. So started off when I was 14. Of course, watched The Craft, right? Like, let's be honest. Got into Wicca, as we all do as new baby witches, which is why I'm probably one of the least judgmental people that you will ever meet, because I was cringe as fuck, okay? And just started dabbling with things that I didn't understand. Like, I'm gonna be totally honest, guys. All of these faux pas that I talk about and I stress about is because I did them, okay? Like, I completely was messing with things I didn't truly understand, and led to attachments. For a long time, I had chronic nightmares. I would suffocate in my sleep. Like, I would wake up like gasping, like for breath. I would have these awful dreams where I'm literally like fighting for my soul. Like, it was so crazy, okay? Had a prayer session because I went to church, you know. I'm very open about that too. I definitely feel like the spiritual aspects of religion are really beautiful. So yeah, I was prayed over, and this, I swear to guys, this is like the creepiest thing to me. You know, I was having all these nightmares, like literally to the point where I couldn't sleep. I was starting to hear external voices. I thought I was going crazy. My parents were freaking out. I was freaking out. It was really weird. And you know, I'm like a grown teenager sleeping in bed with my mom, like terrified, not wanting to turn the lights off because I see shadow people around my bed. Like, so freaking terrible. So yeah, prayed for me, and a giant spider came out of literally nowhere. So this place is upstairs. There's plenty of traffic. I mean, it just comes out of like the freaking middle of these chairs that people were just sitting in. How did nobody see the spider? So yeah, to me, that always, to this day, like, I truly believe that that was some kind of physical manifestation. It just was too uncanny, and the timing, it was just really weird. So anywho, I was very much into Buddhism though. So I do have a lot of books. I've read almost every book by the Dalai Lama. I am obsessed with his work. Truly amazing. If you don't know anything about the Dalai Lama and the process of choosing the Dalai Lama, you should definitely look at that because it's absolutely amazing. Meditation, I went through a period of depression, which I talked about on occasion in my teen years, and started reading books about Buddhism because I was very much drawn to the Art of Happiness, which is a book by the Dalai Lama. And I definitely practiced that heavily, the meditation, the gratitude, all of those aspects that I really preach on because I lived through that, you know. So yeah, I really loved Buddhism. I still do love Buddhism. All of those pieces of spirituality as well. But I was very much interested in multiple religions. So, you know, I've read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, vaguely, to be honest with you. I've read, oh gosh, what is it called? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it for the life of me. Okay, so I went ahead and got it. This is it. In English, it translates to As It Is. This book is amazing. Truly talks about Krishna consciousness, which I was very much into Krishna consciousness for like a hot minute. If you were there for that time period, I was super obnoxious about it, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I've just really always been into spirituality and things like that. I always talk about my gateway drug to witchcraft was crystals. As a kid, my mom would take me to the local community college, which I then ended up attending. And they had an entire section on geology. And so I would read about crystalline structures and chemical compositions and all of these super nerdy parts of, geology and crystals. And I wanted to be a mineralogist as a kid. I have had an extensive crystal mineral collection for many years. I was actually an honorary member of the Corpus Christi Geological Society with Owen Hopkins. If you know who he is, and this guy is like the bee's knees here. In high school was, so anywho, a super nerd. Okay, so crystals, herbalism. I've always been into homeopathic remedies. It's something that has been, honestly, something I've always been into. So the transition to witchcraft to me was like no big deal. So I decided to pick it back up when I was like 19. I started practicing again, started working more with the energetic forces, meditation, yoga. I did a lot of yoga. I need to get back to that, honestly. And just working through healing, right? I don't know. Quantum physics is something else that I'm very much interested in. I just really love the concept of multi-dimensions and the way that it crosses over with spirituality and the spirit world and things like that. It's just always been so fascinating to me. But I like learning about other religions because, I always felt like Christianity can't be the end-all be-all. Like, there can't just be one right person. Like, there has to be some kind of underlying truth. And it's so crazy that in every religion that I've read about, it all comes back to the same thing. And it's like, be kind, be grateful, give love, and I know it's like super corny and like so cheesy, but, within reason, of course. But I genuinely feel like that is the only thing that I've seen across every single religion and spiritual practice is be kind and give love. And it's like, well, that has to be it, right? That has to be the general consensus, at least. And that there is a creator. We just call him by different names. And I don't even think it's a him. I think it's ambivalent, honestly, but it's just my personal opinion. Witchcraft, right? Started practicing again. Didn't really subscribe to deities. Just really learning how to do energy work is where I really started off. Energy work is, honestly, in my opinion, the foundation of magic. Magic is energy, life force, whatever you want to call it. And so that's where I started. And I feel like, in my opinion, everything else that you use, the tools and things like that, are just to help you focus your energy. So eventually, you don't need as many things. Ideally, maybe one candle. And it's really just to give yourself a visual representation of the way that you're moving your energy. So that's usually where I tell people to start off is, of course, protection magic. Again, with my experience, if I had known just even an ounce of protection magic, I definitely could have helped myself out there. Building a foundation with creator, with source. Doing your shadow work, which again, the reason a lot of my stuff in the beginning didn't work is because I feel like energetically I was not aligned enough and I hadn't done any real healing, which I didn't end up doing until I was much older. And even at that, when I would practice or do any kind of energy work, it was never quite what I thought it could be, which ended up being true, as I found out in more recent years. But I just feel like, even though this is something that I do professionally, I just feel like there's always room to grow, and I feel like even where I'm at now, like I could be so much better. I can still grow, I can still learn, and I don't know everything. I don't, I know quite a bit, as far as like foundational stuff. But you know what I mean? As far as like being like a certified guru or whatever, like that is definitely not me at all. I am more than willing to admit that I have a lot of learning to do. I feel like all the books in the world could never teach me enough, and I just, the basics, you know, the basics of learning energy work, getting aligned, doing your healing. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what this is all about. It's about healing yourself, aligning your energy to be able to help others do that, you know? Which I guess falls in line to why I call myself a healer more than a witch. That would make sense, right? But yeah, no, this is just, I love doing this stuff, guys. This is what fascinates me. This is something I've been reading about since I was a kid. I mean, even as a kid, I would read the Bible for fun. Like, who does that? But I would like to sit there and like decipher and really like, oh, also, I don't think I ever mentioned this to anybody, but I did for a year attend a Baptist school in Dallas, which is why I moved to Dallas to begin with. If anybody ever wondered why I say, oh yeah, I used to live in Dallas. I used to live in Arlington. I lived there for a year to attend Dallas Baptist University because that's how much I truly believe in like a well-rounded education. I'm not Baptist. I'm not religious at all, but I really love the concept of embodying spirit and mind together as opposed to just mind or just spirit, right? It was really, really great to actually take courses on the New and Old Testament. I mean, it was kind of weird to have to write an essay on the Beatitudes because I'm like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, no, it was a great experience culturally, socially for sure. But yeah, no, it was a great experience for me to learn a lot more. But that's my point is that spirituality is always something that's been a part of my life. On my dad's side, they are Yaqui, as my dad says. My grandpa was full-blooded from Mexico, and my grandma was half. So I guess that makes me like non-existent. But there are certain aspects to my magic that I have never truly understood why they are the way that they are. Like, for example, I find that my energy flows better when I dance, and there's a reason why I never show anybody how I dance because it's super weird. But it's kind of like a version of Tai Chi. Like, it's not slow, but it's very like fluid. And I never understood why that was and why I always felt like my energy was just, it was easier for me to manifest or to do things, do magic when I would dance. And after doing some research into my indigenous roots, realizing that the Yaqui were known for their dance. They had these beautiful dance rituals. My dad told me this story about my grandmother. She was drinking and she decided to start dancing, and she grabbed a knife. My dad's like, oh shit, like she's gonna do something crazy. And she started doing this dance with the knife, and my dad asked her, what are you doing? And she said, I'm cutting open the sky. And he was like, why are you doing that? And she said, to make it rain. And he was like, why? And she's just, you know, whatever. But it did rain the next day. And my dad told me that because he said it really freaked me out, because he was like, wow, like my mom's magic, you know, like she made it rain. But I think it was the most beautiful thing for me to hear, because I never heard that story before from my dad, and I never actually listened to anything that he told me as a kid, so half the problem there. But it was really beautiful to see the stories come alive that way. And it's another reason why I'm so big on ancestor work. You know, understanding where your magic comes from. And even if you don't know your ancestors, they literally live in your bones, guys. You never have to call them by name. Just ask them that they guide you. Because you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I had a dream about my ancestors, and then the next day the book popped up on my Amazon Kindle recommended list. Like, I wasn't reading anything like that, and why would it be recommended? But that was my guides literally answering my call to show me my roots, to show me my magic, to show me what it was that I wanted to know. So this is why I preach the things that I preach, why I preach understanding how to work with spirits, to get the knowledge before you just want to jump in and dive in, why I stress protection magic, why I stress simple things like meditation and energy work, because it's literally the foundation of everything. And it's taken me a very long time to get here because I didn't have anyone at all. This is not something that has been talked about we don't talk about it. And we have all these people stumbling around in the dark trying to figure things out and doing shit like I was doing, reading shit out of books, doing spells out of books, conjuring up spirits and shit, and creating attachments, okay? So that's my soapbox. That's a little bit about me and my spiritual journey, and how I ended up here. So thanks for tuning in. I hope that was at least entertaining. And y'all take care.